Hi kids, here's what we're going to do. We are going to build our first K'NEX, I guess it's kind of a learning tool, manipulative. And this thing is called the fraction flipper. And the reason we're building this is because it represents everything that we need to be able to do with K'NEX. It represents the ability to follow instructions and to build systematically. It represents the ability to build something that we use for future learning or for discovery. And it has to be built correctly or it won't work at all. And then the other thing is it is fully adjustable. So one of the things that it does is it teaches us that once we get something built, sometimes we have to go back in and tweak it a little bit, adjust it, and then constantly keep it adjusted. That's called maintenance. So this machine will do that for us as well. Okay, so anyways, what I'm going to do is make sure that you have your K'NEX kit with you, and then what I will do is I will begin building it with you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn the camera around here. And get it situated so we can see what we're doing. Okay, now the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get out your parts, okay? You're going to need to get out your parts. You're going to need one gray rod. Now before you get these parts out, what you should do is you should make a list of the parts you need. Okay, so take out a pencil and a paper and we'll get ready to list the parts that we need. Alright. Okay, the first parts that you're going to need, you will need one gray rod. Okay, so you're going to need one of the gray rods, but don't get it out yet. We're just going to make the list. Okay, then you will need one red rod, one red rod, and then you're going to need a total of 4 yellow rods. 4 yellow rods. After you find your 4 yellow rods, you're then going to need a total of 2 white rods. So you're going to need 2 white rods. Then what you need is you need just one of the little green rods. One of the green rods. Now, if we need to revise this list a little bit, we can do that. We can add or subtract a part here or there, but those are the basic parts you're going to need to get started. And then the next one that you're going to need is a part that you may not have, and I don't know if we put this part in our kit or not, but this part is a special part, and it is the flexi rod. It is the flexi rod. So what we're probably, in fact, I don't think we did put that in our kit, so I'm going to have to give that to you. So you're going to need one flex rod. Okay, one flex rod. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get the connectors. And the connectors that you need, we're going to start with 2 blue connectors. 2 blue connectors. So we need 2 blue connectors, followed up by 2 purple connectors. So you'll need 2 purple connectors. 2 purple connectors. Once we have our purple connectors, we need to get out a white connector, and you're going to need 1 white connector. Then you're going to need a total of 2 yellow connectors. Two yellow connectors. After you have your yellow connectors, you will need 2 of the green connectors. 2 green connectors. Okay, so you have your 2 green connectors. The next size you'll need will be the red connectors, and you will need 2 red connectors. Two of the red connectors. Then, after you have your red connectors, you're going to need 1 orange connector. 1 orange connector. Okay. And then once you have your orange connector, you're going to drop down and you're going to need 1 dark gray connector. And that should do it for the connectors, but now we have a couple specialty parts that we need to get out. And the specialty parts that you need will be 2 hinges. 2 hinges to get things started. So you need 2 hinges. And that should do it for us, okay? And this will be our first run, so we're gonna, we're gonna be kind of flexible here, but right there, those are all the parts that you need. Okay, double check your list. Okay? Alright, I'm going to pause the video and give you a minute or 2 to get your parts out. Alright, here we go. We are going to start the video now. Again, we've started it, obviously, if you're listening. And here's what we're going to start with. Now, what you want to do is you want to take your blue connector and your purple connector, and you want to snap them together, like that. Okay? Make sure you want to make sure you hear that snap. That's really important. Then you're going to take a yellow rod and you're going to snap it in the back of your blue connector so it looks like this. Then holding it like this, you're going to take another yellow rod and you're going to make a 90 degree angle right through here. So you get a 90 degree angle. Then you're going to take another yellow rod and you snap it in on that side. So if you're doing this, it kind of looks like that right there. Okay? Once that's done, you're then going to take another purple connector and another blue connector and purple connector and snap them together. they then get snapped on the yellow rod that you put on originally. So this is what you have so far. Now the tricky part. You need to get your little green rod. And your little green rod is going to go right here so it forms a 180-degree angle off of this yellow rod. So it's going to go right in there. And you're going to have to snap it in there. And it's a little bit tricky depending on how you hooked this on. Okay? So that's what we have so far. You want to make sure that your purple connectors are in line with the yellow connectors and that they're in line with each other. Okay. Next, you need to connect a yellow connector to the end of this yellow rod. Now you'll notice that there's a round part on the end of this yellow rod here. If you try to connect onto that, it's not going to work. Okay? You have to connect onto the rib part. So I'm going to take and I'm going to snap it there and then slide it out. So this is what it looks like. Okay. Then you're going to go to the other side, do the same thing. Snap it on and make sure it's connected. And then you have your base, just like that. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to take a red connector and snap it on like that. And it will look like this when it comes off of the base. Then I take a gray rod and you're going to attach it right like that. Followed up with your yellow rod, and your yellow rod will be snapped into the red connector, and you will get parallel parts. So this is parallel parts right through here. Now the tricky thing is you're going to take them and you're going to pull them together so they're no longer parallel, and you're going to do it using this orange connector. So I like to snap it up there out of the way and then very carefully snap it in like that and then slide it up to the top. So now they're no longer parallel, they actually converge. The next thing you want to do is you want to get one of your hinges and you want to snap that on top of the yellow rod, just like so. When you're done with that, you're going to get the red rod and snap it on like that. So this is what you have so far. Then you take your red connector and you're going to snap it on the end of the red rod like so. So this goes up and down. Then the next thing you want to do is grab one of your white rods, and again your white rod will connect right on here, forming a 90-degree angle off of the red rod. So your white rod snaps on like that. Your next step is to take your gray rod, or your gray connector, your dark gray connector, and it's going to snap on the red rod. So you just snap it on like that. And you want it to be in a line with the white. You want them to be straight up in the air. Okay? Then what you'll do is you'll take this white connector and you're going to do a side snap, and you're going to snap it right on here so it opposes and it's opposite of this. So it's on this side. Okay? Then the next thing that you do is actually going to be really kind of the trickiest thing that you have to do. Okay? You're going to take your white rod and you're going to snap your hinge right in the center of it, like so. Then, once it's on there, okay, you want to snap a green one onto that. Now that's very tricky because you don't want to snap on this round part. It won't go on. But you take it and you snap it on just like this. Okay? Now, if you do it right, it should be smooth across there. Okay? So take a minute to do that. And then it's really important that you push that white one, push it as tight as you can to this green connector. That way you have room to connect on this side. And then you're going to take your green one and you're going to connect it on that side like so. And again, it is a little tricky to do this one. There you go. And then you have these two parallel green ones. So this is what it looks like. And this does get tricky, but you get used to it. So this is a nice tight fit there. Once you have this, okay, once you have this, you want to flop that up, and this is actually how it goes on. And it goes on top of the fraction flipper like that. And it does a side snap. So there you go. You're good. Now the last part that you have to do, we'll wait a minute, make sure everybody's caught up. The last part you have to do is take this flexi rod, and hopefully everybody has a flexi rod at this point. Your teacher forgot to put that on your list, but that's okay. You're going to snap it in to the purple here, okay? Snap it in there, and then you're going to snap it in up here. And you might have to slide your white connector so it forms an arc, okay? There you go. And you are all done with the fraction flipper, and I will show you how to use it. Okay? Make sure everything's seated perfectly. There you go.